Hello everyone, my name is Ancient Yeti. This is my first attempt at a YouTube video and hopefully a start of a few series on YouTube. I'm on the ISV Season 7 server, which is about to reset in a few days, and I figured I'm going to give a farewell tour of what I've done on the server, what I learned, what I wish I'd done better, and just ultimately go over everything. And more than anything, this is just for me to learn how to start making YouTube videos so that when next season rolls around, I actually have some idea of what I'm doing. Because I have a tendency to jump into new things with zero knowledge. But the first thing that I did when I got to the server was die several times, try to get gear. Eventually, when I finally had some materials, had a few diamonds, got to the point where I could start doing stuff, I claimed a little starter base here in the spawn town and built a little tent here with me for some shelter. Got a couple sleeping bags and a little bit of storage for me. But ultimately, I had a plan of making a Yeti cave. And it took me a while. I restarted it 4 or 5 times, and finally I got so frustrated I gave up for about a month or 2 months and stopped at it. And when I came back in, I just decided to start throwing down blocks and carving it out. And ultimately, this is what I came up with. So this was my starter base for the season. Started with this main hall going down here and went around into this little cavern, which became my bedroom, with the fire that I stepped on all the time. Surprised I didn't kill myself with it. And I had my little closet here for my storage, and ultimately turned into my valuable storage closet. So once that was done, continued gathering materials, trying to get plans for a main base because I had no idea what I was going to do. And extended the cave and everything through here a ways. And I had a snowman over here that provided all the snow and all the material that I really needed. And when I went to my main base, I naively tried taking him through the nether and ultimately killed my greatest employee at my cave. So that was a sad day. But I digress. I also went through and made up a super smelter. Well, not a super smelter, but a basic smelter, and had lava here that was dripping down and providing fuel for it. And honestly, just 5 of these provides way more fuel than I could have ever used in this starter base. But as things progressed, I got more materials. I had to expand and expanded into my little storage unit here. So had my anvil, had an ender chest here. Obviously, it's all gone now because moved on to my main base, but had my starter base here with the storage. I had all of them marked out here with item frames on here, nice and basic. And then, just because I wanted to have some fun, I decided to make a 2 tall flower farm back here. And I had great plans for this cave, but ultimately, by the time I got to here, I was already looking at creating a main base and doing some other things within the community and trying to do some more community projects, actually. So, ultimately, the base turned out better than I expected. I learned a lot of things about it, things I would do differently. I would have had more variation inside the walls, maybe added a bit more ice in here. The biggest thing that I learned, though, was when you're using snow layers, water is your enemy. I had to rebuild all of these snow layers so many times because I would do stupid things like breaking those blocks or accidentally placing down a bucket of water. So, yeah. But overall, I was happy with the theme, using the soul lanterns in here, the blue panes for icicles. It For the first time trying to build a actual decorative build, I'm happy with how it turned out. Uh, my biggest regret is I didn't make more use of everything above ground because everyone else had these wonderful builds up here, and I think my build came out pretty good when it's all said and done, but you never really saw it. You only ever saw this. So, yeah, next season I'm definitely going to make my starter base something a bit more grand that's above ground so that people can actually see it. But this is my starter base, and now I think we'll move on to the first community project I helped out with, and I can show you what I did there. So now I'm currently sitting at the first public project I worked on. It was a drowned farm that was manual. It was designed to generate as many tridents as possible. It was actually made by someone on YouTube who goes by the name of Nerd Tactics. And they built the farm and then they wanted help making the walls. And I never did anything decorative or pixel arty. And I wanted to do something outside my comfort zone. So I decided to do pixel art. And it turned out pretty good in my opinion. Um, I did on the back wall here, I had 3 tridents, just doing a little pattern, but it turned out really well, I feel. But the ones I really like are on the sides. We have the trident sticking down with a lightning bolt, and just a little homage to the channeling enchantment. And I like how it turned out. I mean, the lightning bolt, you know, with the pearlescent frog lights came out great. I wish I had asked for more help from the community on the back because I was trying to do a pixel art head for a drowned on the back here, and I just could not make it work. And really, I need to get more comfortable asking the community to step up and, help me with some of these projects. And I think it would have been great if I had someone else helping me. It's my own stupid fault for not asking for it, but the rest of it looked great, and I'm happy with how it turned out. So, moving on. So now we're over here at Oh the Humanity space. When I was working on the Trident farm walls, I needed a lot of black dye and I need to build an ink farm. And I did not have any place at my base for it. I put something out on Discord asking if anyone had a place that could have a squid farm and if anyone was willing to let me build it there. Oh the Humanity reached out, said that their base was perfect, or their second claim, anyways. So we built it over here. And it's a very simple design. We have a little dirt AFK platform up here. I was meaning to decorate it, but never got around to it. And then the farm, the heart of everything, is down here. So just the water columns going down, got the magma blocks killing the squids, and just blue glass with a black border. Nice, decent design for it, but I basically made it a one chunk design. Wasn't the most efficient thing in the world, but it got everything that I needed, so I can't complain about it. And overall, it was a fun project. Probably one of the first farms I built on the server, actually. And if we look down below, you can see all of the river that I drained out on my own. And over here as well. And if we go up in the sky, you can sort of see how the river flowed through here. And it was a big project to do on my own. I really need to ask the community for help with that. Would have made it go so much faster, but that's going to just fit in better with the theme of next season, which is going to be ask the community for more help. And I am looking forward to that because it's an amazing community. But that was my squid farm, and now let's move on to the next thing. All right, so I almost completely forgot about probably the greatest idea I had and most poorly executed was my headhunting shop, or my hunting permit shop, where I was selling hunting permits for your fellow players. I had an idea. I wanted to make a shop where you could buy a hunting permit and you could go off and hunt down your fellow players for sport. And it was not promoted as much as I wanted, mostly because when I finished the shop, we were starting to look at the end of the season. People were, gossiping about it. We heard of new updates. But the idea was you could come in here. So we got Yeti permits here. 3 diamonds for a Yeti permit. And you get a shulker box with all the hunting rules, hunting regulations, and basically you could go to their claim or any public area, depending on what the permit states, and you could hunt them, kill them, and take their head. And I think it's a very fun premise, and I look forward to promoting it. a lot more next season, but unfortunately, by the time I had the idea, I started building the shop, and it got to the point I need to get my main base finished. And I didn't even do that, but it didn't leave me a lot of time. So next season, this is gonna probably be one of my main focuses. We looked at the starter base, we looked at the Trident farm, we looked at the Squid farm, and we looked at headhunters. But at the end of the day, the main event is the main base. And I didn't get it finished. I really wish I did. And next season, I hope we do. But at least I finished a few things here, so it's worth looking at. I do have my nether tunnel here. It's a 3x3, which is torture to fly through. I died in this tunnel about 3 dozen times. But I like the design when it's all said and done. Snow blocks with an ice base here. We got blue glass with lava behind it, the warped stems. The color in general worked out great. I just hate flying down it because I would, at the beginning, hit these pillars all the time, and I hated it. But at the end of the day, it worked for what I needed. I usually used my trusty boat because it was easier. But let's go through and tour the main base and say goodbye. Finally, we are here at my main base. We are currently on my starter build, which was a ship in the middle of the harbor. The sail, the crow's nest, all of it came out great. The general shape, there was a lot of detail I really wish I had put into it. And it's just going to go into the theme of next season of I'm going to break all my projects down to very small projects, finish them 100%, move on to the next one. I want to try and have no more than 2 or 3 projects going at a time. But overall, everything was great. I made a pier here, which I was going to extend a little bit more. I had someone else on the server, I believe it was Pizza Penguin, made this little fishing shop here. I was going to try and have a whole fishing village theme going through here, but got distracted with other things. Overall, everything turned out great. I had the first building I made where I was trying out different wood types. The acacia, I had better options, I'll be honest. But I was trying new things. I had this nice staircase that went through here, nice building that led up to the main paths. White path theme on snow could have been better. I loved the theme of the path overall. It turned out great, but fact of the matter is it did not fit the biome. And I was going to try and build a village. We had a bunch of houses like this I was going to build through here and looks great. I had a few more over here. So I had just a random one down here. And this one at the top was actually going to be the entrance to my geode farm that I never finished. And I had a church of sugarcane. It housed my sugarcane farm. And then I had right next to it, this was the cactus farm, which did a phenomenal job, but never got properly decorated. So overall, um, had a good plan, poor execution, but let's focus our attention on the main part of my claim, which was the granite castle. So this is my main base build. It was the granite castle, and I love how the stone and the granite works together on it. I wish I had time to finish it. There were a lot of things I wanted to do, but let's look at what I did do. So we go in the main entrance here. These sides, I had a lot of things I was trying to figure out and ultimately ended on these looked the best. The storage system, we had a standard bulk storage system here. And then I just had on the back here was just a multi-item sorter. It was a very simple one. So wood crafted things, saplings, seeds. Down here we had, random stuff on that one apparently. We had all the copper stuff you could have there, iron, diamonds, we had sponges, nether and all that stuff here. And then on this row, we had just the terracotta and glazed terracotta, glass, wool, all the colored blocks there. And I never actually finished the bottom row. But that was the sorting system, which will be a priority next season because this was done late and it made life so much easier. Now, the thing I'm most proud of, the dining hall. We have these giant tables here that people can sit at. Everything's well decorated. They got their gold placemats. Here's the head table. Everyone's got their candles, but look at the chandeliers and the statues. Just everything came out amazing in here. This is what I wanted the castle to be. This came out amazing, and I feel like less than 5% of the castle came out to be 100% of what I wanted, and this room was that 100%. Moving on from that, we have a second story. We'll go up this staircase. So on the second story here, we have my smelter. You put items in this chest here. It spits everything out down here. And I have it set up as an array of 8 furnaces. So if you know about how stacks work in Minecraft of 64 divisible by 8, it is a perfect, smelter for what you need. Getting to the end of the tour of my base, I have my brewing stand. It's an automated brewing stand. If you are a redstoner and you pride yourself on efficient redstone, look away. It's cringy, I know, but I am so proud of everything I did here because I figured it all out on my own. And I could have spent more time making it smaller. But fact of the matter is, it's a very simple. So we got a clock here that only gets activated. Um, oh, geez, I gotta figure it all out myself. Okay, this is the clock that times everything. We can turn it on and off. When it gets triggered, it triggers everything over here. It gets all of the ingredients to go in. It starts the brewing process. Everything's put into one single hopper there. And then once that happens, this clock starts. And that's the clock that's waiting to turn this off and drain everything out of there into the chests. And yeah, I wish I could explain it better. I'm not a redstoner. You know, I try. I know enough to be dangerous, but this, I figured it all out on my own, so I'm happy about that. But that pretty much concludes my tour of everything I've done on this server, and it's been fun. I'm looking forward to next season. I do have my bedroom that I started up here, but never actually used. All right, so this is pretty much it. This is what I got accomplished. It was a lot more than I thought it would. The castle turned out better than I expected. I think it would have looked great if it was finished. Maybe when the world download's available, I might actually go back and finish it. But it's I'm logging off for the final time on this server, and I will be back in a couple weeks when the ISV Season 8 server starts. And I look forward to starting that series, and I have some really fun ideas for that. So until then, see you next time.